yeah, I'm back there. So yeah, like I was saying, I remember I've just completely lost all train of thought now because of that. Well done, Jack. There was something that I remember saying, but I can't. Ironically, I can't remember what it was. Let's see if I can jog my memory. Oh yes, that was it. I remember. I just remember at like one point. I can't remember what game it was on the back of, but I remember sending a message to a couple of my friends saying basically, little faith that I had. I was kind of the mindset of it might be best that we go down this season, regroup, sell some of the players that don't want to be there, bring in some new players who are ready for a bit of a journey, go down, rebuild, come back up with a squad that has had a full year together or full 2 years together, and then attack the Premier League. But I don't think we're in that position anymore now. We've definitely become a lot more solid, and we've definitely become a lot more, a unit, a team, a family, in a way. You really do get that vibe from me. Like, just hearing the slight little bits that Jesse Lingard mentioned on that podcast he did, the Diary of a CEO podcast. If you haven't checked it out, it's brilliant for Jesse Lingard. But you can really feel a lot more of a cohesive unit, which is amazing from where we were back. What was it? End of October, middle of October. That was a dark period, but I'm glad that we got through that. But like I was saying, Renan Lodi has been a lot better since the World Cup. I mean, who else has come good? Willy Bolly. Wolves fans slagged him off week in, week out on Twitter. He's been brilliant for us, a huge piece in that back four. Just a really... we just look a lot more settled and a lot better. And we're looking to bring in a couple of players in January. Danilo's already through the door. We're looking at maybe a goalkeeper with Henderson being injured. It's brilliant. And we got players to come back. Moussa Niakate will almost be like a new signing. Same with Omar Richards. So it's a really exciting time now. And it's really nice to feel positive about the club, because I was feeling doom and gloom and everything. After that 4-0 loss to Leicester, I just couldn't see what was going to happen. We were a shambles. We were all over the place. But I'm just so happy now that we've managed to sort things out. And a massive credit to Cooper and massive credit to his team and the boys. Fantastic. And I'm really, really happy now. Looking forward. It's such a nice feeling to not be in the relegation zone as well. When you're in the relegation zone, you just want to get out of it as quick as you can. And now we're 5 points clear of it. Hopefully we don't ever have to go back into it. We don't have to really look that far down the table. But, some big games coming up, and hopefully we can ride the crest of this wave into those games. And, we can use the positivity made from the end of the first half of the season and push ourselves on the start of the second half of the season. If I have to pick a league win of the first half of the season, that's a difficult one. It's not there's some honourable mentions, obviously. This one isn't a win, but Brighton away, for me, was a big result. We didn't necessarily play well in an attacking sense. 3 shots, not on target, 29% of the ball. But it was a solid defensive performance that stopped the rut. I say stop the rut. We drew the game before the game before. So we drew against Villa, then lost to Wolves, then drew with Brighton. So, I think that game really, for me, sticks out as one. It's not my game of the first half of the season, but it's one that sticks out to me as that might have been a turning point for us, where we just ground out a 0-0 that stopped us from struggling so badly. The next game for me was a brilliant win massive performance, and it's a bonus win. I heard someone in a video say that a lot of the wins that we've picked up have been from teams around us, apart from Liverpool, which is a bonus win. I mean, technically Liverpool are actually close to us. If you look at the league table, they're only, 4.4 places above us, but that it is a bonus win, and that was a massive, massive win for us. But I think for me, I've got two, and I don't know which I'm going to pick between them. Actually, three. The first home game of the season with a win against West Ham was huge, massive. That might win it for me. If I was there, it would definitely have won it. But I've got two actually. Palace at home and Leicester at home for me are massive. And I'm actually thinking about it, so Southampton away. Southampton away is massive. First away win of the season to really push out the drop zone. But no, I'm going to go Leicester at home for me. I think that was a massive win. Massive, massive win. To take us 5 points clear of the drop zone is huge. But the Palace at home, it was a really good performance. It was a statement win for us, really. It was the first kind of win, and that really we won it, and you thought, actually, something's cooking here. We're looking good. It was on the back of a draw at home, and you're thinking, yeah, you know what, on the back of a win in the League Cup, you're thinking, yeah, you know what, we're starting to build up some steam here. And then the World Cup happened, which is a bit of a shame for our form and our kind of momentum, but it didn't stop it when we came back. It was just as good. So yeah, for me, I'm going to go with probably Leicester at home, but shout out to all the other ones I've mentioned. So now then we're going to look quickly at the League Cup. So it started off in the second round, then a nice 3-0 win away at Grimsby Town, which is a nice win for me, purely because I have quite a few friends who are Grimsby fans. My uncle's a Grimsby fan, and it was nice just for us to have a little win over them. I don't know if we've ever played Grimsby in a competitive game in my lifetime. I surely can't remember it if we have. But a nice little 3-0 in that, lovely to see. Then we got Tottenham at home, and I was kind of thinking that's us done in the League Cup. But a brilliant 2-0 win. Renan Lodi and Lingard winning that for us. Huge that. Like I say, along with the Brentford and the Palace. Really, really big. A nice, lovely 4-1 win then against Blackburn away, which was lovely to come back off the World Cup. And then a penalty shootout win once again. Dean Henderson having the sort of bright side of passing on the bottle, if you will, to Henderson. We won that, which was a game that maybe we shouldn't have won, I don't know. Wolves had some good chances, but eventually in the penalty shootout we did win it. And then we've got Manchester United next, which I'm not feeling confident with at all. And then just to touch on the FA Cup, then a embarrassing 4-1 loss to Blackpool ended our campaign in that, but I don't think that really matters too much. But yeah, all in all, a really positive, a negative start to the first half and a positive end to the first half, and encouraging signs moving into the second half for me. I think that's really what you've got to look at. If I'm gonna sort of sum it up in three little points, yes, the start of it was really looking for an identity and trying to settle down. I'm going to say, the middle point, I'll say, starting to be a bit more stable, and second half looking good and positive signs. So yeah, let us know down below what you thought of the first half of the season. I think I've talked a lot longer than I expected to, but hopefully you enjoyed. Let us know who your player of the first half was, your game of the first half, and what you're feeling going into the second half off the back of the end of the first. So yeah, if you enjoyed, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new around here and you haven't already. And come on, you Red. How's it going, 12 Points TV? My name is Shaq, and welcome to my review of the first half of the season for Nottingham Forest. So we are at the halfway mark in the Premier League season. 19 games played. We have played every single team in the Premier League, barring Leeds. Obviously, with the sad passing of the Queen, that game had to be postponed. And so we've played Leicester twice, but every other team bar Leeds we have played once. So currently then, after 19 games, it is 5 wins, 5 draws, and 9 losses. So, you look at that and you think, doesn't look great. I mean, you've almost lost double the amount of games that you've won. But if you look at it a bit closer, you realise that games that have finished with Forest either picking up 3 points or the single point, so 3 for the win, 1 for the draw, is 10. So we've won 5, drawn 5, so that's 10, and then we've lost 9. So actually, we have in one more game we have picked up points than we haven't, if you get what I'm trying to say, which is a positive for a newly promoted side like Forest. That's a nice positive. You look at that and you think, yeah, you know what? Actually, that's pretty interesting, because you look at sort of other teams in and around us. Leeds have picked up points in 9 games and dropped no points in 9. Leicester have picked up points in 7, not in 12. Wolves have picked up, they picked up the opposite to us. So they've picked up points or a point in 9 games and not in 10. You look at Bournemouth, 8 with points, 11 without. West Ham, 7 with, 12 without. Everton, 9 without, 9 with, 10 without. So they're the opposite to us. And then Southampton, you've got 7 with and 12 without. So, pardon me. So I mean, it's not a real fair reflection, if you will, because you could have drawn. You could have drawn 10 games and lost 9, and you would have picked up points in one more game. Then but you'd only have 10 points, and you'll be adrift at the bottom of the table by 5 points. So you can't really read into that too much, but that stat as itself is a positive for Forest, that we've picked up points. More games we've left the field with a point or 3 than we have with none, which is a positive. We're sat currently on 20 points, which is 5 points clear of the relegation zone. You say the target, if you will, at the end of the season is for safety is 40 points, and we've got 20 at the halfway mark. So if we continue to do what we're doing and replicate what we're doing next season, then 40 points will be the target, and it looks like that's what we might. Well, I said what we might get. We might not. I'll talk about that in a minute. I mean, actually, I may as well talk about it now. This first half of the season started off quite slowly, and we did struggle a lot at the start of the season. Yes, we won our first home game against West Ham, which was amazing, but we didn't start off great. We had quite a poor run of form, which I will look into a bit more in a moment. But just to finish off this point with the second half of the season, we started off quite slowly the first half of the season, but the second half of the season, we're on back-to-back wins. We've got Bournemouth away coming up, which is winnable. Leeds at home, which is winnable also. So we could start the second half of the season in a good bit of form, in a good kind of positive manner. So hopefully, using that, we might be able to pick up some more points and win some more games that maybe we wouldn't have won at the start of the season. By the way, if I look across here, if you haven't realised, I've got stats and things upon my computer. But so we're going into it in a bit more of a positive mindset than maybe we were a couple of games into the Premier League season. But yeah, I think I feel with the position we're in at the minute, and with players that we're being linked to, and how the form is at the moment, and one thing and another, we should be okay. It should be okay, but this isn't a prediction for the rest of the season. This is a look back on the start of the season, the first half of the season. And if we then have a look at the Premier League matches, I'll go through the Premier League, then I'll go through the League Cup, and then I'll go through the FA Cup if I have to at the end. But, so we go back to the start of the season where Newcastle away, first game back in the Premier League, still kind of sorting out the squad. A lot of the first half of the season can be really sort of looked at as trying to work out what we've got, who's the best team for us, who's the best 11 players to put on the pitch to get us the 3 points, and sort of what's the most solid and reliable and recognisable 11 we can put out that we feel most comfortable with getting the points in. And I think that really started to take shape. I mean, if we look down below towards the bottom half of the first part of the season, I mean, Southampton, Chelsea, sort of just before the World Cup, you had Palace, Brentford. Okay, we lost heavily to Arsenal, but there's no shame in that. I think it was around sort of the Liverpool match, sort of Brentford, Tottenham in the Cup, Palace at home, that we really started to see a real sort of recognisable 11. You could watch Forest and you could almost predict who would be in the starting 11 and what sort of formation we will play. I know at the start of the season we were looking to play that 5 at the back, which Cooper is known for, and that we played with very much with a lot of success. In the Championship. So, it made sense to do that, but we lost our opening game, won our first home game against West Ham, and then we didn't pick up 3 points in a game for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there was 9 games that we went without a win, and in that time, we'd picked up a total of 1, 2, 3 points. So he picked up 3 points out of a possible, what would that be, 27. That was horrendous. That was absolutely horrendous. And I remember we had a point in the season, and you could probably go back and find my video where I talk about it. We had a difficult start to the season in a way. We had Newcastle away, West Ham at home off the back of a Europa League campaign where they finished semi-finalists. They looked to be on, last season they looked very, very strong. This season, not so good, but still that looked like a tricky fixture. Same with Everton. They're not doing very well this season, but away at Goodison Park. Now you look at it and say it's an easy place to go, but back then, not so much. It was more of a difficult place. And then we had sort of Tottenham and Man City back-to-back, which you expect to probably lose in our position. But then we had Bournemouth at home, Fulham at home, Leicester away, Villa at home, and Wolves away. They were all in and around our area at the time, our situation. And looking at this, we picked up 1 point. I remember I did a video where I was saying, we'll probably pick up out of the, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was thinking maybe 9 points, 10 maybe. We picked up 1. I mean, and in that time, we were 2-0 up at home at half-time to Bournemouth and lost. We were 1-0 up against Fulham and lost. I was livid at that time. We lost 4-0 to Leicester. I was furious. I was absolutely fuming. I remember after the Bournemouth game, I just sat in my bedroom in silence. I was furious. So, we had a rough start. We struggled. We really struggled to pick up points. And then we became a bit more recognisable, a bit more solid. And 0-0 at Brighton, huge for us really, to stop the rot and to keep going. That was important. A massive win against Liverpool. Huge win that. And then, we sort of stabilised. 2-2 against Brentford. VAR maybe would have gone in our favour. We could have won. A win against Palace just before the World Cup. A loss to Man United, but there's no shame in that. A big point against Chelsea. A first away win against Southampton. And then we just finished a 2-0 win against Leicester at home. So we had a period of time where we really struggled. Struggled for identity, struggled for anything really. And then we managed to pick it up with that 4-3-3 that changed to a 4-3-1-2. We really improved. We really changed. And I'm really a lot more confident now. I remember sitting after the 4-0 loss to Leicester and talking to my dad, and I was like, I don't see where our next point comes from, let alone win. And now, we're going into games thinking we should be winning, and that's a massive turnaround and a huge credit to Cooper and the boys. Fantastic. Really, really, really pleased with that, and I'm in a much better position now. I feel a lot more confident about everything going on around the club and around the on the pitch. It is fantastic, and it means so much to be able to see that, because I was devastated, man. I was resigned to going down, but yeah, fantastic, and it's really turned around. And there's been some influential players in that. You've got Yatesy, who's been exceptional. Awoniyi's come good. Johnson started going good. Gibbs White's looking brilliant recently. Renaldi and Serge Aurier since the World Cup have been magnificent. Question marks over Aurier from Tottenham. Hasn't shown that at all. Question marks over Renaldi from even our fans. Been excellent from that. By the way, I'm just going to do something quickly. I'm just going to stop recording this and start recording the next part, because I have to send it, on WhatsApp, and you only get a certain time frame. So I'm just going to stop this and then move on to the next one. So I'll be with you in a second.